listening to the Success in Sheds podcast. It's a show created to inspire shed builders and portable building manufacturers to achieve optimal success in their shed businesses. I'm your host, Jim Mosier. I'm the author of the book Selling Sheds Online, the complete guide to digital marketing for shed builders and portable building manufacturers. I'm also the founder of Shed Marketer, the digital marketing agency for the shed industry. On each episode, I'll be sitting down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in sheds. So without any further ado, let's talk about sheds. Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Success in Sheds podcast. I am Jim Mosier, your host, and normally I'm going to be having people on the show here to talk about the shed industry, different aspects of the shed industry, so that we can all kind of to grow the industry together. But this first episode, I really wanted to give an introduction and talk to you guys about who I am and what my background is, and why I chose sheds as an industry that I'm passionate about. So to start out, as I said, my name is Jim Mosier, and I am the founder of a company called Shed Marketer. What we do is we're a digital agency, and we work with shed companies to roll out a good website, have a strong Google presence, have a good advertising system going on, and really just step up their web presence and start generating a lot more business and helping the shed industry expand. We work with companies all over the United States, and we're pretty good at what we do, but we haven't always just been in the shed industry. This has been something that over the last 4 years or so that we've really kind of gradually found ourselves, I guess the best way to put it is by accident, into the shed industry. What we do is we're for 16 years now, I've had a digital agency in my city, Lakeland, Florida. That's where we're located. And we had a local client that came in about 4 years ago that just happens to be a portable building manufacturer. And they came in with a series of problems. They had a web presence that was out of date. Severely out of date. I think it was 10 years old at the time. And I don't even think the contact form worked on the site. So needless to say, they were doing the majority of their business by word of mouth sales and just sheer brand recognition. And, thankfully they've been around quite a while. So they did have that going for them. But they came in and they talked to me about revamping the website, which is a conversation that I have, many times a year with local companies in my local area. And this time, they came in and they said, listen, we know we've got to revamp things. So why don't you start talking to me about what would it look like if we did everything right? And if it's too expensive for us, we'll pull back. And so we started having that conversation, and I started sharing them the basics of really the digital marketing strategy that we've been using and defining for the last 16 years. And we started with just redesigning a website, and they had a vision for a shed building tool, but they didn't want one that was overly complicated like a lot of the 3D builders are. They wanted to start simple, and that was their judgment call to do that. Otherwise, we would have probably just licensed one of the 3D building tools and put it on there. But it turns out that simple for them actually worked better. I don't know if you've been to Florida, but the population. Some of the population is advanced in years, and they may not necessarily be the best at operating smartphones and those type of devices. So it turns out the simplified take on this shed building tool turned out to be a good thing. So and then we bolted some Google ads on it, and we were able to get the content set so that they were able to take their site, which had been neglected for about 10 years and almost forgotten by Google. We were able to just put some basic best practices for search engine optimization in place and get them back up into the number one spot in all of their markets. And we did that in a fairly rapid period of time. And I'm only saying that just to say that that's what got us into sheds. That particular client became such a good success story for us that we began looking for other shed companies, obviously outside of Florida, because we give them the exclusivity of not working with anybody else. We've actually done that for years, even in our local agency. If we were doing ads for somebody that's in one industry, we won't actually run Google ads against them for another company in that same industry in the same area. So switching to sheds sounded like a really good idea because we we could expand geographically, and we didn't have to necessarily be bound by the word of mouth and the reputation that we have here in the local area, which is a great reputation, but it's also limiting. It was limiting to the possibilities that we had to help more companies. And so what had ended up happening is we found another shed company that was willing to give us a try, and we pretty much duplicated a lot of the efforts that we had put in for the original client of ours, and used slightly different campaigns, but the same basic structure, the same basic framework, the same basic practices that we put into place with regards to search engine optimization, with regards to uh, Google Ads, and in regards to building the website. And we started launching things, and we achieved the exact similar results. And the second company wasn't here in Florida; they were out in Texas. We did really good. Again, we started achieving some really good results with them. So that's when we really kind of sat down, we regrouped, and we said, you know what? I think sheds is the direction we need to be in. We're really good at it. And it turns out that now, several clients later, we've proven we're really good at it. So that's what ended us up in the shed business. I still have that 15-year local agency. I mean, we didn't turn all of those clients that have been trusting us for years away. However, all of our new efforts and all of our new advancements and everything like that are devoted to the shed industry. So, that's basically the here and why of why I got into sheds. But once I actually did start working within the shed industry, I realized some things. I actually learned a lot about the industry and a lot about the warmth of the industry and the camaraderie. The shed industry is not like any other industry I've ever worked in. It's a very tight knit community, and it's a very passionate community. And it's kind of funny because sometimes I'll go to a mastermind group of other digital agency owners, and they'll say, hey, what's your niche? What's your niche? And when I say, well, sheds and portable buildings, they scratch their heads, and they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, really. I mean, but the sense of community, we've uh, reached out to Shed Builder Magazine. They've actually been great champions of ours. We've got our clients. I've sat in on the Shed Geeks podcast actually just recently, and I've just found the entire community. That's what it is. It's a community. So I really want to contribute as much to that community as I can. Not everybody that listens to this podcast is going to become a client. So that's not what this is about. Actually, a lot of the people that listen to this podcast may not be able to become a client. Again, there's exclusivity that we give the people that do work for us. So anyway, I didn't intend for this to be a commercial about my company. I just felt it was important to give you some background, and I'll move into kind of why I feel shed businesses in general really need to be doing digital marketing, and they need to have a good solid foundation and a good solid workable plan of actionable things that they're doing every single month to drive themselves forward. I mean, even if you're number one, like our first client, they're still with us, and we keep doing stuff for them the same way we do for the company that just started out. Because just because you actually achieve your goal when it comes to digital marketing doesn't mean you need to slow down, because I can almost guarantee you the guy in the number two spot that's right on your heels, he's not slowing down. So you never want to get lazy, and you never want to get complacent. So I believe that the shed industry is underserved when it comes to digital marketing, which is one of the reasons I decided to change and just pivot the direction of our digital agency and focus only on the industry. There are some companies out there that do digital marketing specific to sheds. And they have that as part of their products and service offering. But I don't know that there's any that is decided to be exclusive to sheds. I don't know if it's because a lot of people don't think it's a big enough industry. I don't really know what the reasoning is, but that's not where I'm at. So, I'm just moving forward with this, creating this podcast. We're going to be creating a Facebook community to go along with it. And we're going to be doing everything we can to drive the industry forward, to be an advocate for the industry. For example, right now, we're still working through some things. We're trying to get some changes made to the way Facebook Marketplace works to kind of make it fair, more fair for the shed industry, more like they do for car dealers and some of the other types of dealers that are out there. The sheds, for whatever reason, aren't treated the same way. So I hear stories almost every day of people getting their Facebook accounts banned from Facebook Marketplace because of just trying to sell sheds. And so anyway, there's a lot of things that behind the scenes we're trying to contribute and do. And this podcast is really just kind of a way that we can start having a voice, and we can start coupling our voice with some of the others that are there. Like I mentioned, the Shed Geeks, they put on a great show. They've had me as a guest, and I wouldn't be surprised if before too long you'll hear them as a guest on here. We share a lot of the same philosophies. Rising tides, raise all boats. So this podcast isn't going to be completely 100% about digital marketing. It will be heavily slanted to that, but we plan to have other people on the podcast as well to discuss really all aspects of running a successful shed company. I plan to address material shortages and material issues. I plan to address obviously marketing, but talking about labor, talking about getting skilled workers, talking about offering financing and different alternatives, whether it be rent to own, whether it be traditional financing. You see a lot of RTO in the industry, but not so much bank financing, and I really don't know why that is. And so I plan to talk to some experts about it, because I do personally know of some finance companies that are willing to go that route and finance sheds for end consumers, and they'll do it with really good terms and that sort of thing. So anyway, I hope that you enjoy the podcast. I would love your feedback. Anytime you ever want to suggest a topic or would like us to cover something, you're welcome to send me an email. And my email is jmosier@shedmarketer.com. That's jmosier@shedmarketer.com. And I really look forward to hearing from you guys, and give me your feedback. If you would like me to cover more of a particular topic, if you would like me to cover less of a particular topic, if you would have specific questions you would like us to ask our panelists when we get them on, or if you'd like me to answer it before I introduce a panelist next time we have a show here, by all means, just talk to me and I will do whatever I can to help and answer any questions and talk about any topics that the industry feels is important. But that's it for now. I just wanted to say hello. I wanted to introduce you to the podcast, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Like and subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell if you want to be notified for any new videos that come out. And listen, until next time, have a great day.